Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Well, finally Friday, and good morning to you, the 23rd of October. Spencer Hughes, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right, gearing up for one more rainy day this week.
Yeah, and then we're into next week, and Halloween is next week. Coming up on the show today, Dr. Alex Apostle from the Shelton School District talks about and updates us on how the school year is going. Jamie Mell with some riveting radio real estate, talking about the fall and what to expect there. And then another special guest. I don't know how we got him. He's a tough book. Kaiser's going to be on the air today with us. And the story behind that is he called a family meeting to discuss Halloween.
Nice.
And so Stephanie and I did not know what to expect here. So we had our meeting, and he's going to come on, and we're going to talk about the meeting and what his thoughts are for Halloween coming up next week.
Wow, yeah, it's just over a week away, right? Next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday. I don't know if you can see that far ahead or whatever, but at least this weekend, what's the weather like?
This weather's going to be mostly sunny and nice. You know how it can change a zillion times between now and Halloween. So Halloween says afternoon showers, but like less than 25%. So we won't let that put a damper on those who are going out.
Mason County Public Health notified of 6 additional Mason County residents testing positive for COVID-19, bringing the total since March to 552. There are 56 total active cases. 1 person is hospitalized in Mason County. The total confirmed cases, as I mentioned, 552. The total test performed, according to this release, is 13,524.
State data shows the number of people with confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the state has surpassed 100,000. The Department of Health reported 651 new cases and 3 new deaths yesterday. The latest numbers increased the confirmed cases to 100,525, and the total number of people who have died to 2,289. Governor Inslee tweeted about the cases topping 100,000, saying, "Every choice you make right now matters." He said cases are on the rise again in Washington and urged people to commit to having fewer, shorter, and safer interactions.
Less than 2 weeks away from the general election, last night on the radio was the final debate between President Trump and Vice President Biden. The coronavirus, of course, topic number 1 there for the debate last night, with folks so already major record turnout on returning ballots. Make sure you get your ballots back in. There are drop boxes all across Mason County and the South Sound if you are listening outside our general listening area. We've also produced a couple of videos with the Mason County Auditor's Office Election Department. We've got one on the path of your ballot, which is fascinating, shows what happens after you drop it in the ballot box and then after it's collected. We talk about election security, so you know your ballot is safe. A general long-form conversation with both Auditor Patty McGuire and Election Supervisor Fina Ormond on just kind of election misconceptions. And I was out there yesterday afternoon talking to Lori from the Elections Office about some other things as they're moving closer to Election Day. And so we'll get that video up here soon. So get those ballots in. We will have coverage here on the radio on November 3rd at 4 p.m., and it'll go through the evening until we either know a winner or at least just ready to go to bed.
Yeah, really, whichever comes first there.
Whichever comes first.
As Washington lawmakers consider how to recover from the economic effects of COVID-19, a new report from the Economic Opportunity Institute recommends changing the state tax structure to make it more progressive instead of reducing public services. Here's Lily Bolke with a first look.
As Washington lawmakers consider how to recover from the economic effects of COVID-19, a new report from the Economic Opportunity Institute recommends changing the state tax structure to make it more progressive instead of reducing public services. During the last recession, lawmakers opted to make cuts to health care, including mental health services, as well as child care and federal assistance programs. They also increased K-12 class sizes and hiked college tuition. John Burbank, EOI's executive director, says even before the pandemic, Washington hadn't yet returned to its pre-2008 levels of funding and services.
Even though we've had tremendous increase of wealth and income in our state, particularly at the very top, the state has failed to keep up with that in terms of the provision of services.
The report says low and moderate income households in Washington pay much more in state and local taxes than in other states, and wealthy households pay less. And the pandemic job losses have had an outsized impact on low and moderate wage workers in fields like food service, healthcare, and local government, as well as people of color. Washington gets almost half of its general revenue from sales taxes, and Burbank says that's part of the reason it recovered from the Great Recession more slowly than other states. Many other places rely on a mix of sales, income, and capital gains taxes. Burbank hopes the Evergreen State will learn from its neighbors like Idaho and Oregon, where he says tax responsibilities are more evenly distributed across income groups.
The answer is not to cut. The answer is to find new progressive revenues. Right now, we have a sort of a reverse Robin Hood system of taxation, and we need to reverse that.
He says these kinds of progressive taxes are practical and doable if the legislature finds the political will to make the changes. For Washington News Service, I'm Lily Wolke.
Well, thanks, Lily. Big news here for Seahawks fans. They are 5-0 heading into Sunday's matchup. Well, Sunday's matchup has changed. The time has changed. It's now an evening game against the Cardinals. Pregame now is going to be at 3. Kickoff is going to be at 5:20. And the Seahawks are presented by Shelton Health and Rehab, Riviera's Shellfish, South Sound Appliance, Dogtown Grooming, Neil's Pharmacy, and the Shelton Athletic Club. Again, today on the show, we got Jamie Mell with some riveting radio real estate throughout the hour, Dr. Alex Apostle from the Shelton School District, and Kaiser pops in for a little segment to talk about what he's thinking for Halloween. It's all coming up here on Daybreak. Good Friday morning to you.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning, everybody. Friday here, and we check in with Dr. Alex Apostle from the Shelton School District. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Jeff. Great to be here.
Well, we're moving into the end of October here quickly, and give us an update on how things are going in the Shelton School District.
Well, we're doing extremely well in terms of doing everything we can to provide the very best for our kids and our family. We're kind of looking at everything that we're doing and trying to improve in terms of the instructional delivery system that we have. I've met with all the school staff the past 2 weeks and recorded their concerns and ways that we can improve, and we're going to be implementing some of those things as soon as possible. When I met with the school staff at each school, we talked about what's the best way to bring back students, when we can bring them back safely. And we're waiting to hear from the health department here shortly about their take on when we should bring kids back and then how we should bring them back. So we're in limbo basically right now. We're in a pause. But we're preparing for the day that we get the okay to bring kids and staff back safely.
What are some of the biggest things you've heard from the staff about the K-12? And are you talking with that organization on changes, kind of micro level? Well, first graders should probably be doing this. Seventh graders could probably have more time doing this. I mean, are you able to change some of this curriculum on the fly with these folks?
Well, that's a very good question. And one of the things that I've said to the staff in my visits is that, K-12 is the reason we employed K-12 is that it would provide a consistent and comprehensive approach to online learning. But what I've said to the staff after listening to them is that at this point in time, we possibly will need to monitor and adjust, and I entrust in the teachers' expertise and skill and knowledge to maybe use another platform in support of the K-12 instructional program. And we're looking at all options in relation to providing the very best possible instructional program for the kids. And that may require doing something more than just the K-12 curriculum, especially in the early grades.
How's the access, the technological access for students? How's that being handled? Have you heard reports that things are getting better for the students or kind of staying the same?
Well, I think there's, in all honesty, I think the engagement of students is an issue. There's no question about it. This is the new frontier for both families and students and staff. And yes, we're having some issues as far as engaging students on an everyday basis, but we're doing the best we can. But it is a totally different atmosphere and environment to work in for everybody. So I can't say that everything is perfect. We're far from that. But we're working hard, and we're working as smart as we can be to provide the very best for our kids. And it's an ongoing process of improvement. And that's what we're trying to do, is improve every single day.
I was seeing some video and pictures of the new athletic fields. Athletic director Leopold and I are going to do kind of a walking video tour next week, kind of look at some of this facilities. Is the WIAA still thinking about spring football, or is it all dependent still too on the COVID numbers and where we're at with the schooling?
Well, that's the plan, to start this football season in March, but who can determine where the COVID virus will be at that time? Right. But we're scheduled to start the season in March, and kids right now are practicing using safety protocols, of course. But the facilities are just they're amazing. Unbelievably beautiful. Yeah. And I thank the community for that.
Yeah, they look good. They're on par with, top level, some collegiate programs. I mean, it looks real sharp there.
Our kids and the community deserve that. And again, I'm very appreciative of passing that bond and being able to do the things that we've done and that we're currently doing.
Dr. Alex Apostle from the Shelton School District here, continuing updates with how the remote learning for the start of this school year is going, and we'll check back in with him weekly. Alex, good to talk with you. Be safe and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Jeff, very much.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
This is Steve Kramer from Kramer Tackle with this week's fishing report. Fishing's been fairly consistent lately. We could use a little bit more rain. I've heard some good catches coming out of the hump tulips, but expect massive pressure. I talked to one angler who said there were 63 drift boats at one launch. Guys floating bobbers and eggs seem to be doing the best. Some guys are twitching jigs and doing pretty good on coho. Another option is a lower Chehalis. I've talked to a few anglers who've been down there and have done pretty solid. Not on fire, but good enough to spend some time down there. Area 13 still has some coho poking around. I would target areas between Johnson's Point and Boston Harbor, or over by the squawks and net pens. Modern firearm deer season is in full swing right now, and the woods are crowded this year. If it stays dry and crunchy like it has been, it's going to be a tough season. So if you can, please take a kid fishing, and make sure you check out the recreations page at ifiber1.com, and don't forget my site, kramertackleandguide.com. This has been Steve Kramer. Thanks for listening, and good fishing.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
How's it going, everybody? Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes from the Daybreak Show. I'm on location at 306 West Railroad, home to John L. Scott. Managing owner here is Jamie Mell. How you doing, Jamie?
Good. How are you?
It's fun that I'm in your shop this time.
It's new. It's different.
And I like to be able to talk with you and get the word out to the folks about all the great things happening with John L. Scott in the real estate market. I thought we'd take a look ahead to the future here. It's all unknown, as we know, but as we move into the fall, what are some of the trends that you're hearing from the higher ups in John L. Scott as kind of fall is upon us?
Well, as you said, there's all the unknowns happening. We have the election coming up. The one thing that we do know, our interest rates are fantastic, historical low interest rates, as well as the backlog of buyers. We still have a ton of buyers out there, so I don't see a huge slump coming in. We may have the normal seasonal slowdown, but again, we still have a huge amount of buyers that are out there wanting to buy.
I mean, we've been talking about the inventory numbers for 2 years now,
Yes.
at least.
Yeah.
When is something going to change, or what's going to happen? What do we need to see to change this?
We need to see new construction. We need to see that happening more and more. I recall back in 2009, 2010, in those early years just after the recession, people were talking about how we were going to end up with this housing shortage because during the recession, construction just stopped.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that now. I mean, the economy's been doing well, and so people are able to start buying and doing their thing. But what that's created is that huge shortage that we have. So until we start seeing construction happening, I mean, we see how quickly the homes up there that D.R. Horton built up in the Spice Streets,
Yeah.
those went very fast. And so the demand was there for that. We need something similar to that to come into our community.
So when a company like that comes in, they've done the market research. When it shows that those houses move so fast, why isn't there more building than occurs?
You know, I honestly, I don't know that I can answer that.
The other thing I noticed about this beautiful John L. Scott at 306 West Railroad is that every time I walk by, you make note that there's an agent on duty, and there's also opportunities for someone to learn and come in off the street and maybe try something new.
Yes.
You're big into that.
Big into that. I love being able to help mentor, nurture somebody's career, and I love real estate. It's a flexible, I'm going to say this with a caveat, it's a flexible career, but you have to be dedicated and motivated. And I just love being able to grab somebody that it fits their personality and help them get through the process. One thing we know as realtors, that the test that we have to take, the schooling that we have to take in Washington is fantastic. However, it doesn't quite prepare us to do the actual real estate transactions. So that's the part that I like to do, like to work with the agents and get them going on it, so they feel fully supported from the moment that they take this enormous stride to a new career.
So with the housing market the way it is this a time for a new person coming into this business that they can be successful because stuff seems to be moving so fast? I mean, I'd heard, over in the course of a 1 year thing, if somebody's able to sell 4 homes or something like that, that's a success.
Yes.
But is now an okay time to do this? I mean, with all the possibility with the land and the homes that come up?
Yeah, I think it's a great time to get into real estate. It's, like you said, it's an active market right now, so that's a good thing. And really with real estate, you can be as successful as you want to be in real estate. And it really just goes on to your hustle and how much time and dedication you want to put into your career. So it's a good time to do it. It's kind of a hectic, crazy time because it's a fast market. So
yeah.
If you're a brand new agent, you are literally going to be drinking from the fire hose to be able to get that first transaction.
But you think if you're able to get through this, then you've got some good, you've built up some good skin in this game.
Certainly.
You know what's happening.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Cool. Well, again, we're at John L. Scott at 306 West Railroad. We're wearing our masks, as you can see. All the COVID precautions are in place here, so come on down. Talk with Jamie or one of her great agents to help you either buy or sell your home. Thank you. Thanks for having me in here.
I love this. Thank you very much for coming down.
Of course.
iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey, Spencer Hughes, and special guest for this segment. Let's say good morning, Kaiser.
Good morning.
How you doing, bud?
Good.
So we've brought Kaiser on the air today, Spencer, because the other day, Kaiser calls for a family meeting.
Oh.
And so it's time for a family meeting. So we're all gathering around. And the topic of the meeting was what?
Halloween.
Halloween and trick-or-treating. And it's a real unknown because of COVID and everything.
Sure.
So we've been talking a little bit about what to do.
And I came up with the idea if, like, a scavenger hunt.
And I heard that, and I said, well, that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah. That is a great idea. What kind of stuff are you thinking of looking for and hiding?
So are you going to hide something for Mommy and Daddy, or are we supposed to hide something for you?
I'm going to hide something for you, and you're going to hide something for me.
Oh. Well, this is getting better by the minute.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. What kind of stuff? Like, how small are the things going to be?
Candy, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Candy.
So we're going to what? Then we'll hide candy throughout the house and then have clues and something?
Yeah.
Isn't that a good idea?
I like that idea a lot. And that could be so much fun. And Winston can help. Whose team is Winston going to be on sniffing the stuff out? Because I'm sure if he's like our dogs, he'll sniff out anything food related pretty quickly.
Is it going to be you and Winston?
Yeah.
On a team together?
Yeah.
That's funny. So then what about going out, though? We're not going to go out, though, right?
No.
That's tough, huh?
Yeah.
That was a tough...
Even though I don't want to go outside.
Oh, you don't want to do trick-or-treating? Why not?
No. Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's a rite of passage for kids. It's only natural that you'd want to go trick-or-treating. But there's just so many things up in the air right now. We just are not sure what's going on with everything and the virus and all that, right?
Hey, Kaiser, I saw that dragon. I saw that dragon almost blow off your roof. It would have been flying all over Olympia. That thing's the biggest inflatable decoration I think I've seen ever.
Isn't that thing cool?
We were thinking...
What do you think of the dragon?
So we put it on the roof.
It was super windy yesterday.
It almost blew away.
Did it fly?
It almost blew away.
Did your dad help you put it on the roof? We were wondering who got up there to do that.
I went up there and did it. And every year it seems to get a little tougher.
Oh,
I don't know.
Goodness.
I don't know what it is.
That thing's cool.
But I decided, too, while I was up there to start prepping for Christmas lights already by putting hooks in.
That's smart.
Hopefully we'll save some time.
That is awesome.
So anyways, though, we're talking about Halloween and Kaiser's idea for the scavenger hunt. So so do you think that that's an idea for other families to try?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. From Kaiser's lips to your ears, everybody. We thank you so much for stopping by the show this morning. And we want to make sure you have a great rest of the day and great weekend. Okay, buddy?
Yeah.
Say bye to everybody. Tell everybody have a great weekend.
Bye!
That's how you end the interviews, too.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on iFiber One News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.